My name is Betty St.Jean. I was Betty Fournier. I was the fourth child born to Dad. And I started out right from conception at the ranch. Dad had homesteaded the 160 acres. And that was back in 1919. So I'm just a young chicken. Fournier means baker, and we're all good bakers. Everybody baked their own bread and stuff, except some people in town I know bought from the bakery, but we didn't. But then, as I said, Dad was his donuts absolutely melted in your mouth. My dad went up there and landed in Dawson on the 1st of April in '02, because Dad always said he had his 21st birthday on the trail. He and a friend got to Dawson by riding a bicycle. So Mother was Martha Leonard, and she had been raised in Michigan and had cousins in Toledo, Ohio and stuff. And so when Grandma went north with Langevin, she put Mother into a convent just outside of Seattle. So Mother graduated and was teaching music and saving her money. And she was going to go to Germany and do some more studying. And her mother, I don't know whether it was Grandma, I never did get the story right, whether Mother decided that she should see her mother before she went or what, or whether Grandma probably had urged her, because I'm positive Grandma had her eye on Dad. Dad was very popular, and he's doing very well. He's got this roadhouse. So Mother gets up there after she graduates in June, and she's married on the 9th. I was born on their 5th wedding anniversary. I always keep saying, took one look at me and said, "Oh my God, if they're going to be like that, I don't want any more." So he owned the Arlington, and that's where he and Mother were married, and were there when Isabel was born in 18, and Mother decided that she didn't want to bring the kids shouldn't be brought up with liquor in the house. Well, there's always liquor in the house in the Yukon. And there's Wilfred. That's Uncle Gene's oldest boy. And that's Merle. And there's Emil, and me, and Isabel, and Martha. So 27, we'd both be 8 years old. Isabel would be 9. Uncle Joe had a music room, had a piano with a pulley. So on the 21st of June, he had the trap door, and he lowered the piano from the room upstairs down to the basement, and everybody danced. And at midnight we went outside, and when you looked down Hunker, the sun would go down like this, and it might disappear for about 2 seconds. And then the sun came up again. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it again. There's our house. This is good memories for me, too.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it for a long time. I went to school, naturally, in Dawson. And the first 6 years were at the Catholic school. We had Sister Mary Jean, and she was an absolutely marvelous teacher. And anybody who complains about a one-room school needs their head examined. Because if you're in a room with 6 grades, you are picking up extra knowledge that you might not get repeated when you got to that grade. And so people look at me and say, "Well, how do you know that?" And I said, "Well, I just know." Nobody had a car. Everybody walked. So that if you were driving your car and somebody was walking, you automatically stopped and gave them a ride. Nowadays they would just go right by you. Ah. To me, going down to the Arlington, a mile away to have tea in the afternoon was nothing. And to go from our place to Bear Creek was 4 miles. I would walk, ride the bicycle, or ride a horse to Bear Creek and either have a softball practice or a game, and then and then walk home again. And that's 8 miles plus all the walking it did. But I thought nothing of it. I figure I've been driving almost 90 years.
Wow. Since you were 7?
Oh God, yes. The first car I drove was a Model T with the 3 pedals that Dad cranked. You put the gas up and the spark down, and as soon as the engine turned over, we would quickly push up the spark and pull the gas down. The levers in there. So you had your clutch, which you didn't let out, you pushed in, and in the middle was reverse, and then your brake, and then there was a differential. So once you got going a little faster, you could move into the differential. And of course, up there, you only drove at 25 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm 34. Martha and Isabel graduated from high school, and Martha had always planned to go to Seattle, and Martha and Marie they'd booked their going down the river on the riverboat to Anchorage and getting the train and everything, and then going to Seattle that way. And of course, 2 young teenage girls. They had lots of plans. They were going to have a great time. And at the last minute, Mother's all packed up, and she goes with them. And her mother's only 30-something, but she never came back. This is why I always resented Mother, is that Martha and Isabel were in the same grade. So, but Mother left, leaving Isabel to do the cooking and housework, to be the housewife, be the homemaker, and me, because I was still going to school. And Isabel never had a chance. And it wasn't me I resented, because I probably was still outspoken at that time. I still am. And I can't see how she walked away from a 14-year-old child, 14, almost 15 child. But Mother walked away and left Isabel with no choice but to stay home. It was after Isabel was married, maybe, and I was home, And I thought, yeah, I can see why Mother left home, because Dad just adored her, and he was so proud of her, because she did beautiful embroidery work, and she, as Chris would say, she looked so elegant, which she did, and but. Here's an educated woman who's musical and artful and stuff, and a farmer, and that I could see why. I could see why. At that time, I swore up and down I'd never marry a Frenchman. So guess what I did? I married a Frenchman. And was married out of the house, and we lived in Dawson. After I was married, we had 1 year in town. You want to hear something funny? We were married, and Armin rented this house from Curly Salwa. Well, they came and knocked at the door, and Armin, we'd been out partying with Alex Van Bibber, and I'd gone upstairs to go to bed, and Armin was still downstairs when the knock came at the door, and all of a sudden I could hear this racket, and of course, it's the first time in my life I've ever been even the slightest bit tippy, and I thought. So I wandered down and I stood in the doorway and I said, "What are you doing, hon?" We knew him too. They'd put him up to it. So he came and knocked at our door. And Armin answered it and he said, Is the girl available? Well, Armin being French Canadian, wow! So he had him up against the lamppost, and that was the noise I heard. And then, of course, he brought him in and tended to him and stuff, but he gave him a bloody nose. But we were in a whorehouse. And then we were out on the creeks on Hunker, and Armin worked on the dredge. And then we moved to Whitehorse in 44, after Perry was born, had the two boys, because Armin was working there. Yeah, Dawson is home to me, although I lived all my life on the ranch, naturally. For years, I've said, I started there. I'm the only one that was conceived, well, that's the only word for it, at the ranch, because they moved in 18. So the ranch has been my start, so it's going to be my finish. So the kids all know this, that I'm going home. And because it's always home.